Hi all. So I got a really cool new toy today and I want to share it with you all. And this is a new toy that you can get yourself today for free. So let's get started. So this new toy is called Nerd Dictation. And so if you come into this repository here at github.com/ideasman42 slash nerd dash dictation, there is a README file down here that points to a demo video, and I think you can go and look at this, and it's pretty cool. What it shows is someone talking, and the text is just showing up, which is uh, interesting in itself. But where this particular tool goes above and beyond that is that it's used for entering text into any application or into any form just by using dictation. So I guess I should give you a little bit of a demonstration of this. So I'm just going to pull up my Visual Studio Code here, and I'm going to go down here into the terminal. I'll make this a little bit bigger. All right, and so let me just go into Vim, some test doc dot crap. So I noted I'm going to delete it afterwards here. And then A for append, and now we're ready to start doing some text. And now, I haven't tried this in Vim, so this is something for me also to try. Control Alt J is uh, are the keys I set up for this to get this started. Let's see if it works here. Testing. Let's see if it works here. Now I typed the capital letter and I pressed the period. And I can go in and I can delete words. Okay, so I've stopped it now, and I use Control Alt K to stop this. But as you can see, this allows me to use a combination of my own typing and this automatic dictation. And since I'm in Vim, I have all of the Vim shortcuts like capital B, oops, capital B to go back a word. Here we go. And then I can do a tilde here to capitalize that, and capital B again to get all the way back here, and hit X twice. And now it's pretty good. So I'm just learning this, so I don't really know everything that can be done with it yet. I think there's a way to get it to do the initial caps so that I don't have to come back and do this myself. But let's talk a little bit about how I got this installed. So I'm just going to do a :q-bang. That means I'm not going to save any of this. And I guess, yeah, it didn't save that file, so I don't have to delete it. So first of all, I'm going to go to my code directory, which is in my home directory here. And so one of the things that I had to do was a git clone of this nerd dictation Git repository. So I did that here, and you may notice that mine looks a little different, and that's because, let's see, when I'm up here, I hit the fork thing here so that I actually went in and grabbed the URL for this from my fork. I always, if I'm going to clone something, I fork it first. Now, why do I do that? The reason I do it is I don't have permission to save my changes in IdeasMan's repository. So when I fork it, if I make a change later, if I edit one of the files, I can push it back up into my own repository, and it will be safely saved there. I can't do that with IdeaMan's repository. When I pull, I'm pulling from my repository, and I can tell it to pull all the way from IdeaMan's repository. So I think this is just the best way to do it. So once I have that on my system, let's go back in here, PWD here, home barred code, I can CD into it, that's a nerd dictation. And you'll see a bunch of files in here. You won't see this vosk model file yet because we have to grab that at some point. So now, because I want this to be universal, I want it to be available all the time, no matter what application I'm in or where I'm working. I'm going to install this in my base environment. See down here it says base. And in order to do this, I just do a pip install vosk. And that's all I have to do. And I've already done this, I'm not going to do it again. And you'll see it go through the installation process, and it should be fine. And what else has to get done? Let's take a look back here. You can read all of this yourself. This is how you start it. Nerd dictation begin, nerd dictation end to stop it. And there's a bunch of stuff. You should read all of this. You'll find it interesting. But I just want to go over this installation with you. So here it is, pip3 install vosk. And of course, this has to be done with Python 3. If you've got an old system with Python 2, I don't think it's going to run for you. So here is the command to clone from IdeaMan's repository. As I said, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should fork it into your own and then do it from there. And then CD into it. And then here's where we're going to get the model. Now, this model is not the best model. The Danzig model is better. And so, but you can start with this one. Just do a wget, unzip it, and then move it into the vosk small en blah, blah, blah model directory. And it's not going to stay there forever. That's where we're going to start it. And then you'll see here that you can do this dot nerd detection begin and point to the model directory. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to open a terminal here to do it, because I want you to see what this looks like here. All right, so you'll see all these logits are showing up here. All these numbers are popping out here, and it's weird, right? So I'm just going to Control C this and stop it. So this is normal behavior. Because this is not meant to be run inside of a terminal like this. It's meant to be run as a service and then utilized. So what I've done is I've created some files here, more, or actually ls slash user local bin. And this is where this is where generally you're supposed to put your binaries. You can put it in .local bin, or actually if I echo the path here, you can put it in any of these places pretty much. You can put it in user local sbin, but these are really for system binaries. Local bin would be all right. User local bin. So I guess I think that user local bin is the normal place to put these things, and that's why I put them there. And then of course we can do a ll slash user local bin, because I want you to see that I have made these executable. Right? If I cd into I'm going to do a bang dollar because I don't like to type. All right, so if I do a more of this file here, ndb.zsh, you'll see that it has the shebang, user bin zsh. I run zsh, so that's why it's zsh here. If you're running bash, you do user bin bash or user bin sh. Any of these would be fine, just all depending on what you run. And then here's the full path to the nerd under dictation Python script. And of course, pass it begin here. And this other one here, NDE, this one just does nerd dictation end. So I just used Vim for this, Vim, ndb.zsh, and I typed this in, saved it, chmod plus x nd star, and that made them both executable. And so once I did this, I'm running Pop! OS, which is pretty much the same as Ubuntu. So if you're running Ubuntu or Pop! OS or Linux Mint, even, they should all work pretty much the same way. You go into settings, keyboard. So I'm just going to hit the Alt, the super key here, and I get this type to search thing at the top here. I'm just going to type in keyboard. And you'll see it's this one here under settings. I'll just click on that and go down to custom shortcuts. And then scroll to the bottom and custom shortcuts here. And then add a custom shortcut. And so I did this start one here. Modify it so I can see it. The start one. So I just type a title in for it. Then I give the command path, fully qualified path. And then I assign it a shortcut. And Control-Alt-J is not one I've been using. And you know, J and K are pretty memorable keys if you're a Vim user, because they do up and down, or I'm sorry, not up and down, left and right. So that's the shortcut I chose for this. And then for this one here, I chose Control-Alt-K. And I think I'll be using this fairly frequently, so therefore I'll get used to using these shortcuts pretty quickly. That's all there is to getting this set up for use with Control Alt J. And now, if I talk, it just gets written out to the screen for me. And if I hit, the backspace, everything gets deleted. LS. Okay, so as you can see, you can speak commands. You can do things like speaking large numbers, 6,573,000. Actually, this is supposed to convert this into numbers. I think that's a special switch when starting up the dictation. I'm just going to hit, first of all, Control Alt K. We're going to stop that. Where are we? Visual Studio Code. Control C. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back into the README document here. And let's just go over this installation stuff pretty quickly. You need vosk, and you need to clone the this stuff here. You need to get the model. You need to unzip the model, put it wherever it goes, and there are also some dependencies. Python 3 is a dependency. You have to install vosk. Parec is something that is used for Pulsar. It should be installed, and you can test it just by typing parec minus version, maybe. Yeah. So then you'll know that that's in there. And xdotool. So that's a sudo apt install xdotool, like that. So if you don't have xdotool, you have to add it. And one more thing, you'll notice that I didn't add the model directory here. That's because I moved the model here. Make dir -p blah 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 config nerd dictation move dot model to that path there. And so that is the default location for a vosk model. And well, not for a vosk model, but for nerd dictation's vosk model. And therefore, it's always going to find it, and you don't have to use that switch. So it's up to you if you want to do that. I think it's worth doing. And then finally, down here, there's a better model to use. If you go up here into the Alpha Cephi page here for models page, you'll see that this small model has a word error rate of 9.85% on the Liberty Speech Test Clean and 10.38 on Tedium. The vosk model ENUS Danzu has an error rate of 7.08%. So that's quite a bit better. That's almost 3% better. 2 3/4, something like that. And it's the best of the ENUS models here. The Russian model does better, but you know, and that's really good. So if you speak Russian, and you want to use it, use the Russian model. They even have an Indian English model. So I know a lot of my viewers are from India, and so if you use the Indian English model, it should do very well for you. Much better than the standard. I don't know what to call it. The standard is I don't want to be insulting. Uh, the U.S. English model or the British English model, although those are two very different things also, I suppose. But anyway, if you want to use this Danzu model, just click on it, download it, unzip it, and move it into that models directory on the .config, in your .config directory, right? .config nerd dictation model. And let me just show you quickly. CD here, CD .config nerd dictation So I've got I had the small model. I moved it into the small model directory. So here's my model directory, and this is what that looks like in there. So this is the structure that you should end up with. If you don't end up with this structure, it's not going to work. So let's see. How come I don't have tree here? Is that a... Okay, so let's try that again. All right, so this is what it should look like. You have the AM directory, and that should have those files in it. And the conf directory should have those files, and the graph directory. Whoops. Grab this over here. It's my shitty trackpad. There's the graph directory, iVector, and the rescore. And so yours should look like that. Anyway, I hope you find this interesting, and give it a try and see if you like it. I think it's one of the most interesting things that I've seen in a while, and I think it's going to be extremely useful filling out forms and such. If you're like me, you're a lazy person. But if you love computers, you also might have a little carpal tunnel kind of thing going on. And so this should be helpful for that also. Use your hands a little less. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe and all the usual bullshit. And thank you very much.